The Second World War, or World War II, was a worldwide conflict that raged from 1939 until 1945. The majority of the world's nations, including all of the superpowers, participated in combat as members of the Allies and the Axis. World War II was a global military struggle that encompassed almost all of the world's nations and lasted from 1939 to 1945. The Treaty of Versailles and the German people's animosity against the League of Nations were the root causes of it. After World War I, the Treaty of Versailles was drafted in 1919 to guarantee peace in Europe. Germany was to lose land, according to the deal. It further said that Germany could only have a tiny army and no air force, submarines, or tanks, and that Germany would compensate for the losses incurred by the conflict. Adolf Hitler succeeded in persuading the German people to grant him the authority necessary to better the country's circumstances and restore its strength and dignity. He promised to destroy the Versailles Treaty. Hitler started his invasion of Czechoslovakia and Austria. He also strengthened the German armed forces. Poland was invaded by Germany on September 1, 1939. Following it, Germany was proclaimed to be at war by Britain and France. Japan and Italy both have treaties with Germany. The Axis powers were formed by the three: Adolf Hitler, Emperor Hirohito, and Benito Mussolini led the Axis forces. Russia, France, the British Empire, the United States, Romania, Serbia, Belgium, Greece, Portugal, and Montenegro were among the nations that comprised the Allied powers. Winston Churchill, Franklin D. Roosevelt, and Joseph Stalin were important allies. The German Air Force, known as the Luftwaffe, was beaten by the Royal Air Force, or RAF, in the Battle of Britain. Hitler so called off his invasion of Britain. The Lend-Lease Act, which was approved by the U.S. Congress in 1941, gave help to Great Britain. Hitler authorized the German invasion of the Soviet Union in June 1941 under the terms of Operation Barbarossa. Hitler also announced the final solution, or the eradication of the Jewish people, at the same occasion. When 360 Japanese aircraft attacked Pearl Harbor, which is located in the Hawaiian Islands, on December 7, 1941, the Pacific became aware of the Second World War. The U.S. Congress and President Franklin D. Roosevelt formally declared war on Germany and Japan the next day. 3.4 million tons of bombs were dropped by the Allies, or around 27,700 tons every month. The United States unleashed an atomic bomb on Hiroshima, Japan, on August 6, 1945. The bomb was dropped by the Enola Gay AB-29 Superfortress bomber. Another atomic bomb was detonated on Nagasaki, Japan, on August 9, 1945. In each of these strikes, almost 225,000 individuals were murdered or subsequently perished from radiation exposure. The war with Japan was essentially finished by these strikes. German-held territory was liberated when United Allied troops entered Normandy, France, on June 6, 1944. In the battle that is now known as D-Day, Hitler's army engaged in combat with the Soviet, British, American, French, and Canadian armies and was ultimately defeated. In February 1945, Allied forces invaded Germany following the Battle of the Bulge. April 30, 1945, saw the suicide of Adolf Hitler. The Germans gave up on May 8, 1945. Japan surrendered on August 14, 1945. The conclusion of World War II was August 15, 1945. President Harry Truman's proclamation of formal cessation of World War II hostilities was required before the war was deemed to be finished. The date of this was December 31, 1946. The U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, Soviet Premier Joseph Stalin, and British Prime Minister Winston Churchill convened at the Yalta Conference following the German defeat to decide how to proceed with Germany. The U.S. President Truman, the Soviet Premier Stalin, and the British Prime Minister Attlee all attended the Potsdam Conference afterward. After the war, the League of Nations was superseded by the United Nations. The UN continues to advise its member nations on maintaining tolerance, peace, and human rights. When Nazi Germany invaded Poland on September 1, 1939, Europe entered World War II. The "We Can Do It" program, spearheaded by U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, encouraged married and unmarried women to enter the workforce. There were more than 21 million war fatalities in the former USSR, Russia. Millions of Jews fled to nations like the Philippines after the Holocaust, which claimed over 6 million of their lives. Because of his experiments, Dr. Joseph Mengele, popularly known as the Angel of Death, murdered around 2,800 twins. A month before to their liberation, Anne Frank and her sister passed away at the Bergen-Belsen camp. America dubbed hamburgers Liberty Steaks during World War II to avoid using the German term. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more educational videos.